going on, everyone? It's your man, Fat Man Buddha, back with another video. And today we are talking about something that is about to be thrown in your face very, very hard. Like it's about to be catapulted in your face because they can't deny it anymore. Now, I am and forever will be about reparations and segregation for my people. But you have to understand trigger points. You have to understand trigger points. And one of the biggest trigger points is Palestine. And the reason why this is one of the biggest trigger points was because this was the solidifying move of a Nazi presence in what you call a Holy Land. So, believe me when I tell you that with what everything that's about to happen, this is something that you need to pay attention to because this is something that's been planned for a long time and they're not trying to let anything stop it. So it's coming. With that being said, let's get started, man. And always free Palestine, man. Because Palestine is under Nazi invasion and occupation. And they are going through genocide. They are going through nothing short of genocide. They're having their homes destroyed. They're having their children starved. If you really look into the horror stories of what the Israelis have done to the Palestinian people, like I've heard real horror stories about how the Israeli men would imprison the Palestinian boys and rape them. True horror stories about the Palestinian people being eaten by the Israelis, just like the Israelis are eating us over here in America. Real horror stories. Which is why I truly do feel for Palestine, because out of everyone throughout the world, Palestine is still going through a public execution, a public genocide by by these Nazi forces. So free Palestine from genocide, free Palestine from apartheid, free Palestine from forced occupation, free Palestine, man. Because nobody else would say anything against their Jewish masters. But I have no Jewish masters, man. Free Palestine. And it's going to happen. No matter what you say is going to happen. This is why I say this is a trigger. This is what's about to be thrown in your face. So, let's get started, man. Free, you know what I'm saying? Let's get started with what's about to happen.
As it was in the days of Noah, so will it be at the coming of the Son of Man. I'm going to play for you clips of Matthew's Boy's Prophecy Black, her latest video. You could go to YouTube and watch the full video. She talks about clones, giants, dragons, things to come. And also 2 clips on The Simpsons. He is not predicting anything. The creator of The Simpsons is a Freemason, a 33-degree Freemason. Inner Earth beings. Dinosaurs, giants. That at the name of Joshua every knee shall bow, of things in heaven, and things in earth, and things under the earth. I explained before that the kingdom of Judah, which is the southern kingdom, was the last one to fall into captivity. 1619 plus 400 years, that's 2019. So the gathering of his people is about to take place soon. That's when everything started happening around that time. A good reading on this is Isaiah 60. He will be sending ships to gather his people from all the four corners of the world. The 144,000 are the ones that are going to be coming back to fight these forces of evil. Just like in the Old Testament, when Israel will fight all these giants on the land. A good reading on this is in Ezekiel. It tells you that we will be fighting for 7 years. We will be fighting Gog and Magog and all the nations joining Gog and Magog. For how long? For 7 years. And how long is the Antichrist going to be ruling? For 7 years. And the bridal feast is not what people think. The bridal feast is the battle. Look and see, for Adonai has vowed that all your enemies should come and be your slaves. They will be jewels to display as bridal ornaments. Isaiah, another good read. So the dragon is looking for the bloodline and trying to destroy it. That's why now they're going to bring back the giants, the dragons, the aliens, the dinosaurs. Why not then, but now? It's for the final battle. That was what Maleficent 2 was about. How these beings were underground. And they came out what? For the bridal feast. And what took place? A giant battle. That's what the movie represents. Maleficent, the fertility goddess. Ishtar.
The Phoenix. It is said the Dark Fae began with her, evolved over centuries. You are the last of her descendants. Her blood is your own. You are her. In your hands you hold the power of life and death, destruction and rebirth. But nature's greatest power is the power of true transformation. You transformed, and you raised Aurora. And you found love in the middle of your pain. I'm asking you to take all of your fury, all of your pain, and not use it. Help us broker peace with the humans, because peace could be the dark phase, final transformation. The Moors are our last true nature on Earth, and yet you named a human as queen, the daughter you cared for.
I have no daughter. She has chosen her side.
We've just heard there's going to be a wedding at the castle in 3 days. Humans will come from all over. That's when we attack. We'll kill the king and queen of Ulster and their young prince. Their kingdom will fall, and the Fae will rise again.
The tribe of Dan, the tribe of the Antichrist, the one that broke off the tree of life. The tribes were given colors, and the colors of Dan are blue and white. Blue and white. Mother Teresa, blue and white. And by the way, if you don't know by now, she was a child trafficker. One of the colors of Freemasonry, blue and white. Then there's Lucifer. Our phones, which happens to be black boxes, they also have a blue light. The fake state of Israel, their flag, blue and white. No such thing as a Star of David. Project Bluebeam. The Queen of Heaven, her colors. The Northern Kingdom fell into captivity for baking cakes for the Queen of Heaven. the helmets for the soldiers of the UN. And I also don't want to forget the blue tarps that everybody's talking about. I already covered the rainbow, the summit, and the United Nations logo, blue and white. After all, it tells you in the name, United Nations, to unite the nations. One world, the Kobe Reset, the World Economic Forum, blue and white.
Free, free Palestine! Our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of Palestine. Therefore, we stand together to fight for the liberation of Palestine. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
Behind Nelson Mandela's grandson, the red moon, two red moons. Aren't we supposed to have two red harvest moons? Okay.
Mr. Galloway?
You said we. Are you an Israeli?
I am, yes.
I don't debate with Israelis. I've been misled. Sorry.
Racism?
I don't recognize Israel and I don't debate with Israelis.
If I said in a debate that I would not debate with a Pakistani, I would rightly be called a racist. My question for you is, are you a racist?
I'm one of the few people on the left in Britain who travelled the length and breadth of apartheid South Africa as an underground agent of the African National Congress led by Nelson Mandela, then in Pollsmoor prison in Cape Town. Therefore, the subject of apartheid is particularly important to me. The question of racism is particularly important to me. And in parenthesis, let me tell you this, that throughout the entirety of my time underground in South Africa under apartheid, every house I slept in, every dinner I ate, every car I drove in was provided by Jewish activists of the African National Congress. So Jews don't have to be on the side of apartheid. They don't have to be on the side of racism. Jewish heroes amongst my blood brotherhood, like Dennis Goldberg, who served 27 years on Robben Island in Pollsmoor prison, but who never was able to touch Mandela and his comrades because they were on one side of the apartheid prison wall and he and a few other Jewish heroes of the African National Congress were on the other. Dennis Goldberg, Albie Sachs, Joe Slovo, Ruth First. Perhaps you've heard of these people. If you haven't, look them up. But because of my experience in South Africa, because of the decades that I worked against apartheid in South Africa, do you imagine that I would turn up at a university and debate apartheid with a supporter from South Africa of the apartheid system? I'd rather punch him in the face than debate with him. Why? Because apartheid is a racist poison, and I would never debate with any supporter of South African apartheid. Why should I debate with a supporter of Israeli apartheid?
And in all honesty, that's how everyone should feel right now. There is no debate about any of this anymore. You can't sit here and sideline this issue anymore. These people are being terrorized in their own homeland, just like us. So, this is the trigger. This is what's going to set Westworld right. So
will support and assist the Nephilim when they arise on earth. So by now we understand Nephilim are arising on earth, and there's nothing that anyone can do about that. But to
made its own separate state and that they restore the 1967 borders. Now this is pretty significant for several reasons, one being that there was no caveat that was included with the statement made by Xi Jinping. Usually when a superpower makes a statement like this, it's as long as Israel's okay with it. But this particular time, it seemed that Xi was determined to use China's super-powered position in the world to ensure that Palestine is given the equal representation that Israel has. But of course, I think we all know the real question is, will Israel actually play ball with China, or will they just literally use all of their money to influence all their politics like they do in the US?
What is your position on Israel? Well, I believe absolutely in Israel's right to exist. I also think that what people are starting to see, at least in the occupation of Palestine, is...
You use the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that?
I think what I meant is like the settlements that are increasing in some of these areas and places where Palestinians are experiencing difficulty in access to their housing and homes.
Do you think you can expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd also just, I am not the expert on geopolitics on this issue, you know?
So, that was the catalyst. That was some time ago. China stands by all their statements. China stands by all. When China said there is no peace without giving these people their land, in other words, these Nazis have to leave Palestine. When they say that there is no peace, that's what they mean. So notice that this is going to be the trigger. They're going to say that it's about bricks and that it's about the currency, but it's not. It's about doing what's right. It's about the land, because they are over there destroying holy sites, because they know that's not their land. Those are homunculus chimeras. Those are beings that should not be in existence. Those are Cabbage Patch Kids. I just picked their turn out. Shout out to Cool Mail. But still, these are animals.
Have you ever wondered what it tastes like to eat a human? Well, according to infamous cannibal Arwen Maiwes, who ate almost 40 pounds of meat from a man who actually agreed to be his meal, human flesh tastes rather like pork, only a bit tougher and a bit more bitter. Prussian serial killer Karl Denke sold the parts of 40 victims as pickled pork at a village market.
Armin Maivis was left alone with his mother, who was domineering and humiliated him constantly. Maivis's mother even began to create a fantasy that she was a woman of the house and her son was her servant. They would dress up in medieval clothes, and they would decorate each room of the farmhouse. Until the age of 37, Mavis would live with his mother until her passing in 1999. A computer engineer, Mavis was described by his neighbors in the German town of Rottenburg as a seemingly perfect neighbor. A family next door to him said that he would socialize with them over dinner, fix their car on occasion, and even helped mow their lawn. His neighbors commented, "It was clear to us that he had a different perspective on life than we did, but he was a normal person to speak to. Drink a glass of beer with, just like you and me." March of 2001, Mavis put out an advertisement online looking for a young, well-built man who wanted to be eaten.
This is a war that's about to happen because of what needs to be a trigger. Because once they get started, they're going to sweep.
So pay close attention. When the 1,000 years end, Satan will be let out of his prison. He will go out to deceive the nations of the world and gather them together. Can we say the United Nations? With Gog and Magog for a battle, a mighty host, numberless as the sand along the shore. They will go up across the broad plains of the earth and surround God's people and the beloved city of Jerusalem on every side. And who is Gog and Magog? Russia and China. And you can see in this reading, they're going to attack Jerusalem. And I'm not talking about the fake Holy Lands. Gog and Magog are going to come and invade America. America is Jerusalem. I explained this in past teachings. The siege of Jerusalem, Babylonian captivity. The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Who lost their lands and were placed in reservations? Who were brought in ships and made into slaves? Now the posters, they run all the banks and all the companies that run the world. That's where the scriptures, it tells you that's the reason Babylon will fall. Just as Babylon killed the people of Israel, so must she be killed.
If you can avoid it, don't get caught in the holy war. Don't get caught up in the civil war. But you must choose a side in the race war. Those are the three wars that's coming, and that's it. Those are your choices. Don't get caught up in the holy war. Try not to get caught up in the civil war. And you must choose a side in the race war. So, like, please believe, like, when this happens, they're gonna panic. Because you have to understand, I'm gonna make a video about it, but I think their machines are breaking down. Like, HARP is breaking down. The whole, you see how the ceiling is falling, literally. Like, it used to be videos of all over Africa of people picking up these pieces of metal. They look like reflectors, like they come off of satellites. And they would say, oh, this fell off a satellite, but it's a whole panel, like a very large panel. It's like the sky is falling. And since 2012, I don't think that their technology has been working. Yes, they have surveillance technology, but I mean that I think they've over-exaggerated their destructive technology. I think that they've been fear-mongering their technology. I think that they have ran out and broken down all of their resources. And they're solely relying on fear-mongering and hypnotism.
This is Guy de Rothschild, very powerful man. His bloodline will have the Antichrist, and that's his son, David. And here's the Russell family, and represents the Russell family. And here you see Bill Clinton. This is a hypnotic induction for a mind-controlled slave. It hypnotically inducts them. And then you have William Huntington Russell and Samuel Russell, which tie back into your slave trade. So see, these people these Illuminati families have been involved in slavery for a long time. and have been involved with mind control techniques for a long time. A lot of what they did with the black people was for purposes of, they were very skillfully using trauma and divide and conquer against the black people when they enslaved them. And I don't have time to go into all the ideas behind what they did to the black people, but just leave.
It's failing now. Because now you've made everyone insensitive to it. Because once you're used to a condition, but you still have the problem there, and you don't even try to ease the problem, the next generation will see the problem and they won't be able to be conditioned. So, and then on top of everything, you made it worse. So, your technology is breaking down. You have to start telling the truth. CERN is really over here in Utah. Did you know that? Did you know that this whole time we've been thinking that CERN's in Sweden, CERN is here in the U.S., which further proves my point that we are on an AI system. We are literally on an AI system. We are on an AI system, and the AI system is crashing. And this AI system that's been around since like the 1600s. This is how far back you can trace this. The original, like, this is how far back you can trace this. We can keep going, like, keep digging. Keep digging. The AI system from the 1600s that was designed for this very moment is breaking down. They are trying to imitate what was naturally here. They made a movie about Atlantis, and I think it's of interest today because this movie continuously references Atlantis as being South America, the mountain of Mu. It's in South America. So Atlantis is here. I believe that everyone that's here is being cloned and replaced, but the clones are failing. I believe that the technology.
Future world. This is how humans give birth to children. After the human body matures, cut the mechanical umbilical cord of the incubation chamber. Cut open the artificial amniotic fluid. Insert a ventilator into the newborn baby. As mucus spurts out of the mouth, a new life is born. But as you can see, this baby is an old man at birth. Why go to such lengths to give birth to an old man? Because of environmental pollution, the earth was destroyed. Survivors are hiding in this base, wearing uniforms, eating customized meals for each person. The staff said, this is to ensure that they are healthy enough to go to the mysterious island. And this mysterious island is the hope of the survivors. It's still unspoiled. It's one of the last paradises on Earth. Survivors have a chance to get off the base and live on the island. But the island has a limited capacity. Only those who win the lottery can go. Unless they're pregnant. Thousands of people on the base have won the lottery, but the number of places is very limited.
That Westworld is failing. You see all these images of AIs that's been running around. They've been releasing all the second generation. They've been releasing all the third generation. They're on their 10th generation of AI bots.
These are things that we do not talk about. How'd you guys get this footage? I've probably already said too much. watching this. We're probably already in trouble. It's too late.
Remember that girl that you said was crazy when she said that everything was a green screen in sports? Remember how you called Jamal crazy when he said that the NBA players are robots and they're Generation 5s and all this and that? But now they're showing you and they're trying to make it seem like, oh, we're so far behind. Look at how we're catching up. No, they're not catching up. They're past it now. So this AI system has been around since the 1600s. This AI system that's breaking down and can no longer maintain itself. It's panicking. This AI system's having a very human reaction. It is panicking right now because this AI system knows the natural reaction. The natural reaction is to find the core and destroy it. The core is not in Silicon Valley. I truly do believe that the core was divided in threes. The core was moved from Silicon Valley during the bankruptcy, and it was moved somewhere else. I don't know where. I know that the other one you can find in Mount Weather. That was that whole, the AI system is in Mount Weather. That's one of them. The other AI system is in, you have to look in Transcendence. I'm going to bring it up. But I don't know where the third AI, I think the third AI system was moved to Canada. So, you have to understand and you have to be aware that this is going to be a trigger. And this is going to be pushed in your face. Do not get caught up in a holy war. This is between them and some crackers. This is between them and some homunculus chimeras. This is between them and some Jews. They got us into this mess. Everybody involved that's about to be involved in this war got us into this mess.
I will play 2 videos for you. I explained before that Kamala will be taking over. Biden will be removed. I don't know how, but he will be removed. And she's going to be bringing Obama with her. She is going to be the president temporarily until Obama comes back into power. He's the beast in the book of Revelation. There is not going to be another presidential election. We have China and Russia in our borders already. The king of Babylon always sits in America ever since we lost our lands and we fell into captivity. Have you heard of the Boule or the Divine Nine, the Black Freemasons? Both Kamala and Obama are graduates of these fraternities, which happens to be Masons.
Hey, want to hear some fucked up shit? Alexa, who will win the next American election?
The 2024 American election will not take place. There will be no winner. War Powers Resolution of 1973 or the War Powers Act will be invoked by the act of war with Russia and China. Once an invoked, the standing party will retain and remain in power.
Alexa, when will World War III start?
World War III will commence on March 1st, 2024, when the Chinese invade the United States from within by activating countless sleeper cells. This will be followed by full military invasion on both coasts by Russia and China. The attack will be devastating and incorporate weapons never before seen by mankind. Humanity as we know it will be forever changed and never return to its former glory as the Republic of China will rule going forth.
So as you probably know, names have meanings, especially in the Bible. So I wonder, what can we discover if we were to read the lineage of Jesus, the meanings of the names, in sequential order all the way from Adam to Christ? Let's go find out. Let's go. The God-man is appointed, a mortal man of sorrow is born. The glory of God shall come down, instructing that his death shall bring those in despair comfort and rest. The fame of the stronghold of Babylon's fortress and sorrow, extend their borders like a plant beyond the place of division at the Tower of Babel. A friend also branches out, enraged with fury. A glorious father, the father of a great multitude, laughs as he outwits his enemy. A righteous prince sees God. A mighty one fights. He joins himself to an assembly, a glorious people whom he rescued, strangers in a strange land, captives delivered by God. One who praises the Lord breaks open a way into a safe place that is surrounded by a high wall. O my people who belong to the prince, a prophet clothed with strength and who serves the Lord is here. Out of love, this beloved one paid the price for peace in order to set the people free, bringing them into a spacious land. My Father is the Lord, the healer of him whom the Lord judged and then raised up. The Lord has taken hold of me, and the Lord is strong. Mighty is the Lord. My strength and help are in the Lord. The Lord is perfect. I took hold of the strength of the Lord, and it made me forget my misery. Truly, I am the master builder, whom the Lord God healed, whom the Lord raised up, whom the Lord upholds, did uphold, and will uphold. I have asked God about the ransom of the Lord, those exiled in Babylon. My Father is awesome. God will raise up a God will raise up a helper. The just one will the Lord raise up. God is my praise. God is the one who helps. May the gift of Jacob increase in greatness, for God is with us, the Messiah and Savior of those called out of Babylon. That is incredible. Check it out. Google it. It will blow your mind. This is not man.
They all created this confederacy, and now they want to break this confederacy down because they're afraid, and it's too late now. Do not get caught up in their holy war, because it's their holy war. We have nothing to do with that. As much as I feel for Palestine, as much as I understand that Palestine is going through what we're going through, we have nothing to do with that now. You understand? Because Palestine chose a side too. They just didn't know that they were going to get hit like that. But Palestine chose a side too. I wish I could find the footage of when the king sat there and said, we do not accept these Jews because when we started, we sold these Jews away black, but they come back to us a different color. So let's not sit here and act like Palestine had nothing to do with it. Everybody had something to do with it. Everybody had something to do with it. Do I feel bad for them? Yes, but still they're guilty. They're part of the Confederacy too, and now it's breaking down because nobody expected all this. So, and this also leads into the whole Pressure John thing. So, let's go.
Western media be like.
Okay, what's going on in the world today?
This one's a good one. There's a Palestinian journalist that was sniped by an Israeli soldier while on the job. She was wearing a
Let's talk about gas prices. They're on the rise right now. So,
Israelis detained 5 young kids. A 14-year-old Palestinian was shot dead. An Israeli soldier sexually assaulting Palestinians.
yeah, but they're always fighting though. Like, they're always fighting.
Israelis are demolishing more Palestinian houses, making them homeless. An Israeli attacked a 4-year-old kid.
It's a conflict on both ends. You really don't know what's going on in detail.
Palestinian mom saying goodbye to her son that was shot dead. A Palestinian mom losing her son that died because of neglect in Israeli jail. More Palestinian houses are being demolished.
You saw that Palestinian? He was throwing rocks. You saw that? Throwing rocks, that terrorist.
I mean, that's a bulldozer with an army terrorist. They shot a Palestinian while smoking, doing nothing.
Israel killed a 6-year-old child.
Okay, so you can report it, just keep it vague, like shot dead or something.
Israel killed 9 Palestinian civilians today.
The army invaded Palestinian territory with tanks and rockets. Israel has the right to defend themselves, though. An Israeli soldier shoots another Palestinian, and another Palestinian, and another one, and another Palestinian, and another one, and another one, and another one.
About 30 Palestinians are dead this month alone.
Wait, 9 Israelis died?
Report this. We gotta report this right now. My hand's shaking.
We strongly condemn the heinous terrorist attack done by the Palestinians.
Why would this happen to civilized, peaceful people? I just don't get it.
You notice a trend that I've been seeing that's been going on for a long time is that these homunculus chimeras, they want to use our leaders when they want to talk about oppression. And it's funny It's funny. And now they have initiated these boulets to sort of gerrymander your mentality to give over your leaders. They're trying to say that everyone was a boule or everyone was a Freemason agent. Do I agree with Martin Luther King? No. Do I think that he is a race traitor? Yes, I do. But would I give away his wisdom simply because he was supposed to be a spy for our enemy? Now they're trying to say that Fred Hampton was a boule and that he was a spy for our enemy. They're trying to say that Carmichael was a boule. They're trying to say that the original Black Panther parties are boules. They're trying to say that everybody was part of COINTEL, and therefore they're trying to take credit for their speeches. And
there are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to, but the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling, and you take him for a friend.
movement. Did they fake a movement? Yes. Did they how can I say this? Did they control some leaders? Yes, they control the Divine Nine. That's why they're being punished right now. Have you seen the schools, the HBCUs? Have you seen them? So they are trying to hijack the entire 80s movement. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to take over the entire 80s movement. They're trying to convince everyone that these are boulets, and that's not the case. Not everyone's a boule. Not everyone's an agent. And even if that was the case, why would they go so hard? Why the Black Panther Party was the start of the social program, the HUD program, the uh, Witness Protection Program, the food stamp program, the breakfast before school program, the Medicaid program. All that started with the Black Panther Party. So you're saying that the Black Panther Party was COINTEL? Come on, man. You gotta be reasonable about this, man. Like, you really do have to be reasonable about this. Do I um how can I say this? Do I think that everybody is part of COINTEL? No. Do I believe that um there was people around them? Yes. Look at the motion picture Black Jesus. I mean Black Messiah, something, whatever it's called. So don't give up your heroes, is what I'm saying. Point blank period. Don't let them take your heroes away. Alright? These homunculus chimeras thought that when they showed the world how they were tormenting us, that the world would still be on their side. But when the only people that went to their side was their own kind and the Japanese. Those were the only ones. Think about it. Think about everybody who has had one of us as a dignitary for our people in their own land. Think about it. Think about it. Think about what they're preparing for. Think about what's the test run right now. Everything was a test run. Ukraine is a test run to see if they can invade Russia. Israel's going to be a test run to see if they can free us. Do not take part in anything, but you must take part in the race war. And that's the truth. Do not take part in anything, but you must take part in the race war. You must. Because they're going to take part of it. Everybody has to choose a side. But let's get back to this.
إما يصف الخمر بأنها أم الخبائث، وأنا أقول أن الصهيونية هي أم الخبائث، لأنها هي أسباب هالمشاكل هذه كلها في العالم. الشيوعية جت من الصهيونية، المبادئ الهدامة جت من الصهيونية، التفسخ الخلقي جانا من الصهيونية، الخروج على كل المبادئ وكل التقاليد وكل الأعراف وكل الآداب وكل الكرامة والشرف جاءت من الصهيونية. فإذا هي أم الخبائث وهي الأساس. والسبب في ذلك مثل ما ذكرت في الأول أنهم يحاولون على أنهم يسيطروا على العالم. هم لا يمكن يسيطروا بعددهم ولا بقوتهم، ولكن يسيطروا على العالم بتفكيرهم بهذه المبادئ يبثوها بين أبناء الشعوب. فلما تصل إلى درجة من التحلل والتفسخ وعدم القدرة في ذاك الوقت يسيطروا عليه. وهذا هدف. وهم اللهم أصدق الأحد. هم أصدق للشيطان.
You see why I say that they signed up for it too. And they just didn't think that they would get hit like this. They did not think that they would get hit like this. So basically what he's saying is these people aren't really our allies. These people have lied to us this entire time. The entire time. These people have gone about and lied to us the entire time. So we're warning the world what these people are really about. We already know. And now you're being hit. Everybody involved being hit. Nobody else wants to say it, but I'm going to say it. Everybody involved is being hit right now. For a whole bunch of people that weren't involved in the slave trade, everybody who was involved in the slave trade is being hit right now. Everybody who's being involved in collapsing the American and African trade is being hit right now. And nobody else is saying anything. Libya's being hit right now. Morocco's being hit right now. Ghana's being hit right now. Damn, all the ports of South America, all the ports of Haiti, everybody's being hit. The entire slave trade is being hit right now. Is what I'm trying to tell you. The entire slave trade is being hit right now. And no one else is talking about that. No one else finds that funny. Nobody else finds it suspicious. Nobody else is saying anything. But the entire slave trade is being hit right now. And now look at the catalyst. This is going to be one of the catalysts right here. The fight over Palestine.
فين يا بنسون؟ فين؟ مي باردن؟ مي باردن؟ يا بنسون مي باردن؟ يوفي
London was founded by the Roman Empire called Londinium as a military base. Let's say at your house in Nottingham, a person from Italy turned up at your door and said, "This is my house." You said to that person, "How is that your house?" He said, oh, in 46 AD, my family lived here. People I'm related to lived here. I mean, you'd call the police would come and section that person. What we're humouring here is, as Yusuf al-Kabir put it, militant archaeology. Are we to suppose that because how can you prove that you have anything to do with anyone that lived 2,000 to 3,000 years ago? And how dare you force me at the point of a gun to entertain your mental health issues.
And that's what we have to be about right there. That entire thing. And when that argument works, watch how it doesn't. Watch how that argument will not work when it comes to our people, because we have undoubted proof that those Arabs in Egypt are not the real Egyptians. We have undoubted proof that some of those Arabs in Ethiopia are not really from Ethiopia. I said some, like 20%. Undoubted proof that we are the real Israelis. Undoubted proof. Undoubted proof that we are the real natives.
This right here is an original depiction of the Ojibwa. Not Ojibwe, Ojibwa, the tribe that invented the dream catcher. Yup.
According to the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Olmecs were these Africans that left. They were stonemasons that came across with Thoth. He's also known as Dahudi or Jehudi in Africa. They came here with him long before the Mayans even arrived, long before Christopher Columbus. These people were here so long ago, there's even records of them doing trade back and forth between here and Africa with the indigenous peoples that were here too. There's a book, I believe it's called Before Columbus. It has a lot of great sources to document and prove that this culture had arrived here hundreds of years before the Mayans even existed. The mainstream wants you to think this stuff was so recent, but the evidence gives us a date that goes way further back than what we have.
Of this land, undoubted proof. So, this is why, think about this, in Georgia, their new police training station is on top of an historical site built by our people. I want everybody to pay attention to that whole exchange. Everything just seemed fake to me. You understand? Everything just seemed fake to me. Everything just, come on now. Come on now. Just, I don't know, something felt off about that. You know, could they still be working together? I I don't know. I don't think so. But still, something just felt off. Something just felt off. I've seen how Israelis treat the Palestinian people, and that didn't fit. That seemed, come on. You really think that Israelis would stand for the Palestinian flag flying like that? You saw it. They didn't even attack it once. I don't know. That's what started the war right there. That whole little exchange. They were trying to force people out of their house, and they got tired of it. So they shot back. That's how that whole war started. There was no war, it was a massacre. That's how Israelis act towards the Palestinian flag. You feel me? Everything is legal until you say no.
Have you figured it out yet? FEMA camps, Sustainable Development Goals, blue. To save the planet, Mother Earth, Gaia, the fertility goddess. And these smart cities, they're blue cities. These lights are blue lights. Their goal is to connect the people into the Internet of Bodies, merging man to the computer, the mixing of metal and clay. For Lucifer, it's the prince of the power of the air, which means airways and frequencies. And the color of blue is 666.
If anyone is wondering why the direct energy blast to Maui didn't affect anything that was blue or white, take a look at these pictures. If you were in control, would you want the people that you're sending in to take over to be injured? If you notice any of this color blue, all those colors of blue totally ignored by the fires and the direct energy blast. You guys have started to see the blues and the clues. Those are the shades that aren't affected by direct energy. It's at 666.2 terahertz. Defeats lasers.
Have you guys noticed the great purpling? So
I just wrote down some things I know about purple lighting. It's attached to the smart cities, geofencing. They rolled it out in Newcastle, Australia, where they sold the idea of a smart city and they destroyed the town in order to build up. They install these purple lights. They're not a manufacturing defect. They can kill. You know, it's a militarized weapon system inside there. The antenna, it's more than just attached to a lighting. It's not powered for the light. The power goes to the antenna, the network of things. Again, smart city monitoring. Certain frequencies of light can halt expression of genes. Also, luciferase in many of these medications are used to track if you're following mandates. And the L17-A distinction 60S ribosomal protein experiment function is to bind mRNA and translate encoded messaging into protein production. And so you can see how this is a multifold kind of concern. Again, voice recognition and identification, and if I'm not mistaken, there's cameras in there as well, or there will be. I'm not even taking a giant leap there. Attached to your bank account, licensing and credit if you're out of your district. So you can see how this is a problem. They, if they pose it as a manufacturing defect, but there's a subterfuge of your privacy and human rights. I have a concern there, and I have a telegram. I have more of these videos. Escape hypnosis, Dumbledore.
It's glowing. Now I go down my arm, and it gets worse. I have a little dot here, but the worst part, look at the vein in my hand. It glows. Exactly where I got the shot.
You're a dirty needle, you're in my blood and there's no curing it. Yeah, and I wanna run like the blood from a wound to a place you can't see me. 'Cause love, like a blow to the head, has left me stunned and I'm reeling. Yeah, I'm reeling. And if you go, furious angels will bring you back to me.
With the idea that the reason that they brought over the black people like they did in the ships with so many dying, and the way they separated them from their past and everything, it was all utilizing mind-controlled techniques. And this is some other Illuminati bloodlines here. The Lee family, Li Ka-shing, billionaire in Hong Kong. Li Ka-shing, billionaire in Hong Kong. Some others. Hitler was of the Rothschild bloodline. I found out that Scotland was very important to all of this, and I just highlighted some of the Scottish clans that were involved in the Illuminati. And for some of you that need to see this, because you wonder if satanic ritual abuse does occur, I got this out of a museum, and it's written it's an oath to Satan that's written in the blood of the person who made the oath. And this is very standard for people within the Illuminati. And this all relates to how the mind control is done, because a lot of you can't separate the rituals, the satanic rituals, from the mind control programming. They dovetail in. But they're also using alien themes in the mind control too. And again, I will explain this in the videotape. It's a castle in Belgium, an important castle of the Mother of Darknesses, which is a rank within the Illuminati. This is the front entrance to it. The Illuminati have set up objectives, okay? And then those are broken down into components, and then they use different parts of society to bring those objectives about. They want things to happen as if they're happening naturally. From debriefing people that have heard planning sessions where the 20-year and the 30-year and the 50-year plans of the Illuminati were explained in detail, one of the major components to their plans is they want everything to happen as if it's unfolding naturally. So where the mind control slavery is so important is they have salted their people throughout all levels of society. There is no religious group, there is no philosophy, there is no political group that can't be infiltrated with their mind-controlled slaves. Here's an example of another objective. And you can see how they've broken it down into components, and then there are people that are salted throughout different areas are bringing about those goals. This is explained in the videotape, so I won't explain it, but it shows the type of thing that I go into in some of my literature, in some of my books. And this is the Illuminati occult area boards that when they went to make federal regions, they copied the boundaries that the Illuminati occult area boards already had. And again, this is the type of thing that we talk about in the videotape. And you may say, what does this have to do with mind control? It's because healthcare and control of grains and all of these different things that we see being controlled behind the scenes, the way that they are able to control them is with these programmed multiples. And that's why people are saying, well, I can't believe that there's a conspiracy because I don't see it. No, it's being very subtly done behind the scenes. Here, Alice Bailey, who was connected to these people, was head of Lucis Trust and wrote quite a few books, started 140 New Age groups. She writes, "Years ago I said that the war which may follow this one would be waged in the field of the world religion. Such a war will not work out, however, in a similar period of extreme carnage and blood. It will be fought largely with mental weapons and in the world of thought. It will involve also the emotional realm from the standpoint of idealistic fanaticism. This inherent fanaticism found ever in reactionary groups will fight against the appearance of the coming world religion and the spread of esotericism. The coming struggle will emerge within the churches themselves." She's talking about mental weapons. Now she doesn't spell it out here, but what she's talking about is the mind control that I'm talking about. And the name of her book's very appropriate. It's Externalization of the Hierarchy. What was done in secret in these secret societies that tie in with the Illuminati, what was done in secret 100, 150 years ago is being externalized into society. And part of the way that they're doing it is through the mind control that's got an alien script to it, and through people that are seeing things and dreams and so forth. You know, one of the ways, see, my father was just naturally smart, but there weren't enough naturally intelligent people for the New World Order types to take advantage of. If you understand what they need to run their computer systems and to do the type of research that they needed to have some trick to get enough geniuses to really move rapidly forward with what they wanted to accomplish. And they discovered that if they scarred the brainstem, they could create somebody with a photographic memory. And so a lot of your people out there that are geniuses working for the system are mind-controlled slaves that have their brainstem scarred as a child. They've been given a photographic memory, and they've got programming. Now, how do they control these people? Well, they are releasing technology at a rate that they have decided upon, and they release that. If you're a mind-controlled slave, a lot of the ideas that you will get will come as dreams. Okay? They're controlling the various Christian denominations, various Christian religions. They're controlling the New Age movement. Your New Age prophets that are seeing things. Where do you think this stuff is coming from? And that's why I was so pleased to see Raylan Russbacher tell you her own personal story about how she discovered that the things that she had been channeling were actually being channeled through her via mind control from the intelligence agencies. This is, it doesn't show up very well on here. It's such a beautiful picture, but it's the inside of the house of the temple of the Supreme Command of the Supreme Council, of the 33rd degree of the Scottish Rite Freemasonry in New York City. The house of the temple here, one site for programming, one place for the Grand Druid Council to meet in a room there. Here I'm at a programming site. This is the Presidio, and this is real near the Presidio, the Palace of Fine Arts, and where Illuminati have done rituals. Here's some more pictures from the area. You'll notice that the 6th Army has the satanic hexagram within a circle with the satanic anarchy A inside of it, and a lot of their staff are Satanists. This is some more sites around the area used for programming. This is on the Presidio where the Illuminati have had some rituals inside of there, and in the distance here is Alcatraz, which has been used for ritual programming. This is Tavistock, which is a site that's been used for mind control programming. Rothschilds have used Tavistock quite a bit. Here's a couple programmers. This is Michael Aquino, who's head of Temple Asset. He's a mind control programmer, and I don't think that he's got a staff in his hand there in the picture, but he oftentimes carries a staff. That's staff is like a cattle prod, and it will give you electroshock. There's been quite a few books coming out recently about the mind control, but they're all pretty vague. So I encourage you to get the Volume 2 book that we have, and the title to it's the Illuminati Formula Used to Create an Undetectable Total Mind-Controlled Slave. Now, how are they doing this? Well, they're using natural things, natural functions of the brain. Some of you have probably been driving along the road and you've been talking to your wife and just driven automatically. See, the mind can work in two different things. What you're doing is you're hypnotically trancing out on your driving. Maybe some of you have been driving and you went from point A to B and don't even remember driving. You just put yourself into self-hypnosis. There's different altered states that the mind can go into, and they're very familiar with these. The mind also has the ability to disassociate. You know, if you say, some people, if they say something that's wrong, and then you try to correct them later on, they say, well, no, I didn't say that. Their mind has to disassociate. Or you go on a trip and you remember the good things but forget the bad things. Okay, this is disassociation. The mind has a natural ability. Now let's say that you're a soldier in a war, and this has been going on for thousands of years to soldiers in wars. Let's say your buddy for instance, has his arm blown off and his guts are blown out, and it's a horrible sight. The mind protects itself, and if you look at it on a timeline, and at this point in time is that trauma, if the trauma is severe enough, what the mind does to protect itself, it builds amnesia walls around that trauma. Well, the Illuminati learned this long time ago, and so what they do is they compartmentalize the mind. They take a small child and they just traumatize the heck out of it and split the mind and build all these amnesia walls between all these traumas. The worse the trauma, the better, because the better the trauma wall. So the most horrendous traumas you can possibly imagine are the ones that they want to use. When you've splintered the mind up into many pieces of disassociated pieces, then you can go in and pull that piece up to the front of the mind, and you can construct out of that piece of memory whatever you want out of it. And you remember that some people have said that the human mind is like a huge computer, and if you got all the computers of the world together, in some ways your mind would excel. You would be all of the computers in the world. You've got a fantastic computer here. Well, you know how a computer can section off memory. You know, when you turn on your computer, if you need to reboot it, it reboots out of memory that you can't get to. In order to make a functioning computer, the big hurdle that they had to jump over was to be able to create memory that you couldn't access. Well, that's what they're doing with the mind. They're splintering up your memory into thousands of little pieces. My co-author on a couple books...
And I think that Palestine was the first ones to say no. And you see what's going on.
الله ينتقم منهم، الله ينتقم منهم مجرمين. فوت لجوا، شوفي تشوف ثاني، فوت لجوا، فوتي. الله أكبر عليهم، الله أكبر عليهم. يبدأ تم تفجير، تم التفجير. عفوا هذا الحرام. الله ينتقم منهم. تم تفجير المنزل. الله أكبر عليهم. الآن تم تفجير المنزل.
So, yeah. So when we say that they are forcibly removing the Palestinians from their homes, we mean that. We mean that right there. We mean them committing genocide, destroying everything. This is Nazism, this is Zionism. They are the same. This is the escalation before the war. It's the only reason why I want everybody to see this, because they're going to change up the narrative very much. I will be surprised if this even goes up on YouTube. I will be very, very surprised. Especially as much as they are crushing free speech. But this is what started the war. This is what started the war of Gog and Magog.
مسلحين هجموا على الدور، حرق دور، حرق سيارات بسلاحهم مش بالحجار، بالسلاح. انا كنت موجود من البدايه هان. هجموا بالسلاح. اجا جيب جيش اجا شاف الحدث من هان بالضبط. شاف الحدث وضل طالع باتجاه المستوطنه خارج البلد. ما منعهم ولا اي شيء الجيش الاسرائيلي، بالعكس هو اللي داعمهم والمستوطنين لغايه الان الدور برضه جوا محروقه بالكامل. محروقه بالكامل.
اختي وجوزها بالدار سامعين صوت دخنه طالعين لهم صار المستوطنين هاجمين وكاشفين الغطاء عن السياره المرخصه صاروا بيولعوا مطفينها وولعوا جراسين بابا طالعين يصيحوا ويضربوا عليهم اسروهم يعني الشباب وصاروا يطبشوا في التواوير اللي عندها ويطبشوا في البراندات وصارت تصيح ولعوا
الغربيه. فهذا وما نراه الان على الارض. نعم
ابو مازن محمود عباس، اذا مش عقد المسؤوليه انك تحمي شعبك اطلعها، لانه في اسلام غيرك.
كيف دخلوا المستوطنين؟
كيف دخلوا؟ لانه سايبه، لانه ما في.
طب كيف دخلوا
المنطقه هذه تقريبا فوق 100 واحد باكم موزعين على عده
جبارة، هل هناك معلومات عن
So yeah, so they are going through the same thing that we went through in the 1800s. They're going through the same thing we went through in the 1800s, and they're going through it right now. Now, the entire world allowed us to go through it in the 1800s, but they're going to stop it from happening to the Palestinian people today. Gog and Magog are trying to set things right after they've done wrong. That's what they're trying to do. Everyone who was involved in the entire thing is trying to make things right. Because they know what's about to happen. They know they can't stop something from happening. Everything's a test. Everything's a test run. Trust nothing. Everything is a test run. Even this is a test run. This is why I'm trying to show you everything that led up to this point. They're going to free Palestine. Free Palestine, yes. But it is a test run for something bigger. Imagine, of course you can. Because you're not one of us. Not for real, bro. That's why I don't trust really any of it. Because how can people who benefit from your demise say they sympathize with your demise? I don't trust any of it. I think they instinctively know that something bigger is coming. And they want to be on our side for it. And I don't trust it, bro. Look at this. You see that? Those people not doing anything. They are literally just minding their business. They are not doing the thing. Those people are being spat on. They are at their holy site. They are at their mosque. They are at their church. They are talking about God. And here come these Nazis. Just come you and just spit on them. Where? But you want to have sympathies for these animals. You can't.
So their system is not stopping. And then finally, I want to say that we need one idea. And we're not thinking about a solution to the problem. We're dealing with all these other things, but these are diversions from the solution to the problem. And we have to start to think about a solution to the problem so that these young brothers and sisters who are here now, who are 15, 16, and 17, are not here 25 years later talking about these same problems. Now, how do I know that the white people know that we are going to come up with a solution to the problem? I know it because they have retina scans, they have what they call racial profiling, DNA banks, and they're monitoring our people to try to prevent the one person from coming up with the one idea. And the one idea is how we are going to exterminate white people, because that, in my estimation, is the only conclusion I have come to. We have to exterminate white people off of the face of the planet to solve this problem. Now, I don't care whether you clap or not, but I'm saying to you that we need to solve this problem because they are going to kill us. And I will leave on that. So we have to just set up our own system and stop playing and get very serious and not be diverted.
So not only do you have to free the land and help to liberate the rest of the planet Earth for political power again, you'll have to do it so that all humanity can once again get back on its proper course. And we can live life as it's supposed to be lived. Become more godlike. The object of this knowledge is to be a reflection of yourself in the mirror of history. And when you look in that mirror, you will see God, because each one of us are in the image of the Creator, the Ancient of Days, with the lamb woolly hair and the color of amber. And as Jeremiah said, he looked like the pitch of oven. Each one of us are reflections. When we look in the mirror, we see God. God shining forth from us. And if you truly believe in the Creator, then you know that you cannot accept a life other than the highest and the best that you can get out of it.